continuing the theme of skeleton design. Another example from the architect's information, which describes in some detail the architect's preferences on how the design should look. And next to that, color images to help you better visualize what the future structure will look like. There is also a plan from above, which they claim is drawn with reasonable accuracy. And we will use that plan to create an initial basic skeleton. Let's start with a new component. For the initial foundation, we need to go to this branch of the program, which allows us to import the drawing of our choice. Next, we choose which plane we want to work in. We choose plane XY. And in this plane we import the drawing. Now we have the foundation. To create a volume, like in parametric control systems such as AutoCAD, you need to draw a contour and extrude that volume according to the drawn contour. We choose the XY plane, and here we have the possibility to project different geometries, because we have a 2D drawing involved at the moment. This is how we tell the sketch which edges are currently relevant for the future skeleton. We choose a profile, check the documentation provided by the architects, and see that the whole structure has to be 700 meters high. We stretch one volume and then move on to the next. Which we extend to the top. The first volume will control all the other volumes. Next we create a new volume as a new body. Now we have the basic concept of the lower blocks. We can see that one volume, a second volume and a third main volume are created. Next, we construct the entire main volume of the skeleton in a similar way. You can see the history of how the whole future volume is constructed. Please note that the drawing provided remains the associative basis for the project. Unless we want to make specific changes to it. We can then call up this drawing in AutoCAD and make certain modifications. Let's make a stretch so that the structure is extended by 600 mm on one side and by 600 mm on the other. Record the changes. We go back to the inventory, we can see the changes that have taken place. The structure changes according to the changes in the drawing. Those volumes that are dependent on these changes are automatically changed. We have to split the body into individual modules, which we will continue to construct. The next process, splitting, is very simple. A plane is created that reaches these edges. An operation with a splitting tool is applied, which splits the plane into two parts. Now in the story we see one block and another block. The first block is called Block 1. We repeat the same operation. We split across the two edges and create another plane. With the help of which we divide the body into two more separate parts. And we see two more parts appear in the story, Block 2 and Block 3. The splitting of the structure into blocks is done. The main concept is split into separate bodies and given meaningful names as separate blocks. The next stage is to work with the individual modules, and to do this we have to perform an action that allows us to see each block as a separate component. This is done by providing functionality that allows all components to be placed in the desired location. We give the set of individual components the name of a new compound and perform the split. The result is a compound similar to the basic skeleton. We can see that we can open each of these components individually and work with them as a single unit. We can change the composition of the components. We can add a specific block, but we can also add an additional block if necessary. From the selected blocks, the following additional blocks are added. I can also include a sketch as required, in this case, and alongside that we have various supporting geometry, that is, various working plans. The most important thing is that we can include parameters. At any point, we can edit the content of this inclusion, simplifying the process if no sketch is required. The important aspect is breaking down the overall conceptual model into individual modules and continuing to work on the structure with one module in its context. By adhering to this context, we ensure synchronization with the main skeleton at all times.